Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment of knowledge pays the best interest. If you're anything like me, you like training days at work because it gives you a break from your regular monotonous grind. But can you honestly say that you can remember the information that's taught to you in these training classes? As a student that's studying human resources and training development programs, I feel as though I'm qualified to speak to you about the importance of training retention in today's workplace. The purpose of my speech is to persuade you all that implementing training retention policies is an important part of the employment training process. Instituting training retention policies is an important part of this process because it removes fault from your employees for forgotten information, it reduces wasted hours looking up information when you should be working, and it saves the company a ton of money in the long run. The first thought that I would like to discuss with you is how implementing these retention programs helps to remove forgotten topics from the employees, from the fault of the employees. According to an article, How to Help Your Employees Remember What They Learned in Training, more than 1,000 U.S. employees responded to a survey done by a corporate learning platform called Bridge. The Bridge survey findings may really surprise you. 45% of the respondents admitted to wasting at least 15 minutes a day looking up information. Additionally, 77% of those same respondents said that they wasted at least 15 minutes a day helping out other employees look up information that they had already learned. Which leads me to my second idea, or my second point. Training retention policies reduces wasted hours looking up information, which increases individual employee productivity. 72% of employees surveyed maintain that something as simple as receiving an email reminder to go over topics that had already been learned would help them retain the information given. The corporation learning platform Bridge that we went over earlier also found that a total of 15,860 hours of productivity is squandered for a company of 1,000 employees due to searching for information on topics that have already been covered. Training would be much, much more effective if less time had lapsed in between these sessions. This encourages a higher level of preservation for the employee. And finally, these retaining practices saves the company money in the long run. 7 out of 10 respondents in a 2015 survey done by Kay Gutierrez in her Shifts e-learning blog said that job-related training and development opportunities directly influence an employee's decision to stay with the company. Also, tinypulse.com states that it costs around 50% of an employee's annual salary to replace just an entry-level employee. It can cost upwards of 400% of their salary to replace a high-level employee. The cost of training multiple new employees over and over again versus the cost of implementing training retention policies for current employees is just penny on the dollar every year compared. Emer Riscala writes in his blog in the Washington Post that companies that invest in training retention policies show a 24% higher profit margin and generate 6% higher shareholder return. So in conclusion, I hope that this speech has persuaded you all that implementing training retention practices is an important part of training policies. And I have explained to you that it removes fault from the employees for forgotten topics, that it reduces wasted hours looking up information, and that it saves the company money in the long run. And again, I feel like I'm qualified to speak to you on this topic because I've studied it extensively in my human resources classes. So once again, thank you all for taking the time to listen to my speech. And hopefully as you graduate and become managers or persons in higher positions, you will remember this speech and you will remember the importance of not just training your employees, but implementing training, retention policies, and programs as well. Thank you.